Right, we've pressed the button. Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. I'll hand over to Councillor Davies for Karakia.
Whakatakata hau ki te uru, whakatakata hau ki te tonga, kia mākina kina ki uta, kia mā taratara ki tai. Ehi ake ana te atakura, he tia, he huka, he hauhu, ti hui mauri ora.
Kia ora, thank you for that. Councillor Davies, good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's Regulation Hearing Committee for the 4th of June. I am informed a quorum is present, so I declare the meeting open. We've received, with regard to apologies, that's agenda item 2, we've received an apology from Councillor Edge. And I note that Councillor Robinson is online for the start of the meeting. With regard to agenda item 3, does anybody have any conflicts relating to today's agenda item that they wish to raise now? If there isn't, we will then move on to 4, which is the Public Forum, Deputations and Petitions. We have received none. Agenda item 5 is the extraordinary urgent and urgent business. We have got none. Is there anybody that wants to bring anything to the table now? Nope. Agenda item 6, notice of motions. We've received no notices of motions. Right, that takes us on to agenda item 7, which is the minutes of our last meeting. They're on page 10 to 16 of your agenda. Are there any matters relating to the accuracy of the minutes for the 28th of May? If there isn't, we have a recommendation here that we confirm those minutes from the Regulation Hearing Committee held on the 28th of May. Can I have a mover and a seconder for that? Is it matters arising that we can go later, or is it a matter of correction?
Yes. On 8.1, I just need it noted that I stood aside for that.
Should be in the minutes that was the case, because I proofread them.
Oh, have you actually put it in the conflicts of interest?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
it's in
Sorry.
both places, Councillor Swiggs, so you happy with that?
Yes. Yeah, I didn't look at that part, I looked at the other part.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Right, so do we have a mover and a seconder for this? Councillor East is going to move it. Can we have a seconder? Councillor Swiggs. Okay, so mover and a seconder there. All those in favour say aye. Against, that's
Aye.
right. Was that a no?
Oh, aye. Yes.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Right, so that's carried. Right, now my papers have got it out of order here. So that takes us on to agenda item 8. Now, I just did forget to mention who's in the room for those people that are online and possibly can't see. Sitting at the table we have Alison Allen, our consents coordinator, and alongside her is Henry Winchester, who's the regional leader of consents delivery. And in the back we have Robin Fitchett, our legal counsel, and Paul Holst, our general manager of regulatory implementation. I saw that as a new title recently, so trying to get it right. Right, so that takes us on to agenda item. This is the report items for decision today. So we're looking at the appointment of hearing commissioners for decisions and objections. Now, those of you who remember about this time last year, we also considered a similar list. Staff have explained the purpose. This is in the paper. It's basically to decide where there's some conflicts with the organisation, staff, councillors and their families, and to hear objections and to costs and decisions. The full range of reasoning is set out in the recommendations. So the list is there. I will open this up for questions of clarity from staff, because I think it's important that you actually understand what we're actually agreeing to here. So, Councillor East.
Just a question of the list itself. More than happy with the names on the list, but just a query really. Is this a normal length that we would have, or is it, I sort of hear at times that, you know, commissioners are a wee bit in short supply. So is this an adequate list, or is it shorter than we would normally have, or...
This is about the normal size list, and for about the same amount of time. We've always done it on a year appointment, and this enables us to go to find someone who is free when we have short notice, because often we have a request for a decision to be made, and it can be sort of within, well, we do ask for at least 4 days notice. So to try and find someone that's available, we need sort of the larger list of people to call on.
I think too, if I can just add into there, I think the list last year was 11. So there is an additional person, and my quick look of this is, my sense is there may be 2 or 3 people on this names that we don't see regularly coming through. So I think that's quite good to see some new blood, so to speak, in there. Some of these people may also be names that are come forward to this table as recommendations for hearing commissioners or panels as well. Is there any further questions on this? Councillor Swiggs?
Yeah, I did have one. It might be an obvious answer. It was in the section talking about family. 2.4. Sorry, 2.2. The staff members and councillors and family members. Is that for family members that may be applying to the council? And how far does that go?
Immediate family only. So if sons, daughters applied, that's about as far as we would look.
The only thing I'd add there is that within the application forms is a box that people tick that alerts us to that, as well as obviously we would hope they bring it up with us.
I can assure you it works.
Well,
Councillor Robinson, do you have a question?
yeah, I just do. It might be slightly out of the scope, but because we don't have a run through for this meeting, I've just got a query really, regards to the list and I guess consents that may be subject to appeal or through the courts. Is that highlighted also within the list of people as sort of a precautionary approach, or it's probably more for Robin, but I just guess hoping that has also been taken into account when we've got these lists.
I'll attempt to answer that first, but before I pass over, this list is specifically for consents that are coming in here, not appeals back to the court or anything, and I'm getting nods from the staff here, so totally different consideration of individuals that may be involved. In fact, if it was appeal, I don't believe that we would actually have any say in who was going to hear our hearing.
No, thank you. But that's not quite what I was meaning. I was meaning that the list of people could be have been in the past. They could have been part of an appeal where they have made a decision, and they're on that list. And it could be a similar thing that's put forward for a consent, very similar situation. and I'm wondering if they've got information based on decisions that they've made that may be challenged in the past or along those lines. I guess audit of their character or decisions to date.
I think it's a big question, and it's a big ask of us to actually query the professionalism of individuals that have gone through and made these courses, making good decisions course. Robin, would you like to make a comment?
Good morning. I'm not sure if I understand that question. Are you, sorry, Councillor Robinson, is it that you're saying that if one of the commissioners had previously had a decision that had been challenged by a judicial review, that we should take that into account when reappointing them on our panel?
Yes, correct.
I think that might be a tricky bar to enforce, because there is the democratic right to judicially review any decision that council makes, and that you run the risk.
Where you go?
Sorry, just the first part of your answer was, that's what I was meaning, not the second part. That's what I was referring to, yes, but not that we should make judgment. I'm just asking if it was part of any, I guess, filtering of people. Yeah, not actually making a decision on that myself, no. Just a question.
I can probably answer that. So, no, that's not part of the consideration for us. It's case by case. We look at the experience. These are really experienced commissioners, and we've put them forward as they've done a number for us in the last 12 months. And they've also really well recognised people, and as the chair has recognised, we wanted to get some new blood in here as well, that we have the ability to call on commissioners quickly when we identify a decision is needed to be made.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Cheers.
All right. If there are no further questions of clarity of staff, do we have a mover and a seconder for this recommendation? Councillor Swiggs is going to move it. Councillor East is going to second it. Okay, we have East. Yep. We have a number of recommendations here, and they're not all going to fit on the screen. So hopefully you've got your papers in front of you. We've got a mover and a seconder. Don't know whether buzzing them up there might help when you can't read them that quickly. We've got a mover and a seconder here, Councillor Swiggs and Councillor East. All those in favour say aye. Oh, sorry.
Aye.
I was just going to say something very quickly.
Yeah,
it's good to
I'm
see
sorry about that, but carry on.
It's good to see that we've got one more member than we had last year on this panel, which is good. And I would still like to see opportunities for, there's a lot of experience within this list reading through it, but I would like to start seeing, even another list that comes through where we can help people get that experience for, doing some of these decisions. It's going to be a really tricky time over the next a couple of years with the changes to the RMA, so I'd like us to make sure that we're ahead of the game in terms of the changes and how we can not fall behind in the workload that we have as well. So that was just something that I wanted to say. But yeah, really pleased to see at least one more than we had last year.
Thank you, Councillor Swiggs. Sorry, I didn't give apologies for not giving the opportunity for discussion there. So that is carried. That takes us on to 8.2. This is the appointment of a hearing commissioner for Frews Contracting Limited. They've applied for a resource consent application here. Staff have recommended that we appoint Craig Welsh as the hearing commissioner and delegate duties under the Resource Management Act and the functions, powers and duties required to deal to any preliminary matters here and decide the applications. So background's been laid out in your papers. This was notified. Number of submissions in opposition were received, and there are submitters wishing to be heard. And the recommended commissioner of Craig Welsh. The backgrounds are outlined in your papers from 13, in points 12 and 13 of the papers. Does anybody have any questions of clarity of staff around this one? Councillor East?
Unavailability of people off our list.
I think it's important to understand we've got lists that come to us, the two that we've had this week and the previous week. So they're two lists. Staff also have a list which is made up of the Making Good Decisions list from MFE, and that's where they'll be selecting the names that come to us for the commissioners and panels. That's correct? Yes.
Just a tongue-in-cheek comment that we've just approved a list and this chap's not on it.
I'm not sure that needs an answer for staff. Thank you. Is there any further questions of clarity on this paper? If there isn't, we've got the recommendations here. Can we have a mover and a seconder, please? Councillor Swiggs and Councillor East. Right, we've got a mover and a seconder for this recommendation that we appoint Craig Welch as the hearing commissioner and delegate the responsibilities. All those in favour say aye. Against? Okay, that's carried. Thank you. That takes us on to 8.3. This is the appointment of a hearing commissioner for Taepu Land Limited. I think I might have hopefully got that name correct. There's a suite of consent applications there. The recommendation from staff is that we appoint Michael Durand as the hearing commissioner and delegate him the responsibilities to fulfil his duties. Background's laid out in the paper, and this was publicly notified as well. There is hearings. A hearing is required as submitted to be heard. And once again, we have had this individual before, but the background is laid out in points 13 and 14 and 15. Is there any questions of clarity? Councillor Swiggs.
I haven't looked at the actual consent itself. I was just wondering if this was one of those flood recovery ones that we've got, or is it something completely different?
I think it's one completely different.
Any other questions of clarity on this? If there is no questions of clarity, can we have a mover and a seconder for this one? Moved Councillor Robinson, seconded Councillor Davies. Is there any discussion? If there isn't, we will put that to the vote. All those in favour say aye. Against? Carried. Thank you very much for that. This takes us on to report items for information today. So 9.1, we've got the committee resolution status report for 4th of June. Now they're all green. Does anybody have any questions on that? I think it's pretty straightforward. If there isn't, we've got the recommendation up here. Can I have a mover and a seconder for that, please? Councillor Robinson's going to move that. And Councillor East is going to second it. Any discussion to be had? If there isn't, I will put that to the vote. All those in favour say aye. Against? So that's carried. That takes us on to resource consent hearing status report. That's for the 4th of June. Recommendation is up here. It's quite a few pages here, and it has a couple of attachments, and I've just talked to staff and they think there might be a duplication there. So does anybody have any questions of clarity? I have got one question, and it's the very last one, 28th of May, where we actually had the recommendation to appoint hearing commissioners to decide those limited notifications. I'm just wondering whether that possibly should be green or even on the status recommendation status report in the future. Okay, thank you. Does anybody else have any questions from that status report? I think we're getting a lot of detail there, which is very helpful to us all to see how things are actually proceeding. So if everybody's happy with that, we've got the recommendation here. Can I have a mover and a seconder for that? Councillor Robinson's going to move it, thank you. And a seconder, please. Yep. Councillor Chair Pauling. Any discussion to be had before we vote on that one? No, if there isn't, we'll put that to the vote. All those in favour say aye. Against? So that's carried. Thank you very much. That takes us on to agenda item 10, which is the next meeting. We'll be advised when that's going to be. And then we'll keep we'll use the Karakia and close it at the end of the day. Thank you very much for that. So we'll turn off from now.